Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could start heading towards your seats for us so we can keep on schedule today. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 QBANK Everyday Hero Awards, proudly supported by the Police and Emergency Services Health. My name is Darren Curtis, and I'm a member of the team at the Queensland Police Union, and it's my great honour today to be your host for this particular event. And it's great to actually have people together again for a change, face to face. It's a bit better than doing some of those Zoom and team meetings where you're never quite sure where everybody is and who's sitting there with pants on and who's not. So I think we've done a quick check today and everybody's right. So we're all good to go to be able to face each other again face to face. I'd like to thank all the people that are watching us online today, right across Queensland and across extended those borders. A lot of people have relatives and friends that would have loved to have been here that across that magic border cannot get here. So it's wonderful that people are online today following the proceedings along the way. In the last year and a half, of course, well, we've had our physical health has been tested, our mental health has been tested, our economy has been strained, but through all that, the front line hasn't faltered. Our people have shown diversity, they've shown adaptability, flexibility, and most importantly, they've shown that attitude of getting the job done. And that's what we want to honour today. That's the key heart of the values at the Everyday Hero Awards today. People who have gone above and beyond of what's expected of them to try and make things better for the people of Queensland and in particular their immediate communities where they live and they serve. Today you'll hear some incredible stories and we will acknowledge the efforts of those people who have gone above and beyond to do exactly that, the Everyday Hero Awards. First of all though, we'd like to honour the traditional custodians on the land on where we gather today and pay respect to the First Nations people from the Townsville region, to their elders past, present and emerging. And I'd like to extend that respect as well to all First Nations people and Torres Strait Islander people that are here today. With us today is Uncle Brenton Creed, who I'd like to invite up now to officially ask him to welcome us to country.
Thank you. Ago Nabal Nabal, Nyinda Dangari, Nyanyan Yarabinya, Milden Gurumble Bara and Yunbanin. Hello and welcome. I see people have arrived on my country, Townsville and Magnetic Island. On behalf of my Wulgurukaba traditional custodians, elders past, present, emerging, welcome here today to the 21 QBANK Everyday Hero Awards. It's great to have it up in Townsville. We've had a good run this year, I believe, with COVID, and having such great events like these up here, it brings not only people to our community, but it also showcases Townsville as a great place to come and visit and holiday. I'd like to welcome all our distinguished guests here and congratulate those who have been nominated or who have nominated themselves for awards, and good luck to everyone today. The Wulgurukaba people are known as the Canoe people, with Wulguru meaning canoe. So thank you very much and enjoy.
Thank you, Uncle. Now today, when you arrived, many of you would have pulled up at the portico and come down, and you would have been guided here by some recruits. Ladies and gentlemen, please acknowledge the recruits from the current academy class at Townsville Academy. They will graduate in just a few short weeks, and today was part of their process of volunteering and assisting at different events today. Ladies and gentlemen, the recruits of the Townsville Academy. We broke with tradition early to make sure that we acknowledge them being here because, like all young recruits, they have other things to do. they're going to be very busy this afternoon, so it was nice of them to have a quick break and turn out today. Wasn't it wonderful to walk in from outside, out of that heat this afternoon, and come into this beautiful, cool room here at the Ville in Townsville? It was absolutely wonderful to feel the embrace of that cold air, but it's also wonderful to be in Townsville, which Uncle Brenton's tipped on, is there, that is become the centre of the entertainment universe apparently in Queensland at the moment. So it's nice that we're able to get some space here for this booking today. Representing the Honourable Mark Ryan, the Minister for Police and Corrective Services, and the Minister for Fire and Emergency Services, Mr Aaron Harper MP is here today with us. He's also the member for Thuringoa. Councillor Kurt Rabine is representing Mayor Jenny Hill and the Townsville City Council. From the Queensland Police Service, Commissioner Katarina Carroll, Deputy Commissioner Paul Taylor, other members of the QPS Executive Leadership Team and senior officers. From the Queensland Ambulance Service, Acting Deputy Commissioner Gerard Lawler and other members of the QAS Executive Leadership Team and also their senior officers. From Queensland Fire and Emergency Services, Deputy Commissioner Mark Roche, representing the Commissioner Greg Leach, other members of the QFES Leadership Team and senior officers as well. From Corrective Services, Chief Superintendent Michael McFarlane and QCF senior officers as well. We're also acknowledging our senior defence partners that are here today that have had the opportunity to come and join us, the QBank Chairman and board members, the QBank CEO Mike Curry, the QBank business partners, and also the QPU President Ian Levers and the executive of the QPU leadership team is also here from the union. I must say, after 35 years in my previous role with the television industry, working now for the Queensland Police Union and under the leadership of Ian, has been an absolute breath of fresh air. It's wonderful to work in an environment where you are supported in everything that you do, and their main priority is also the industrial rights and the welfare of members of the police service. And that's led, it's a passion by Ian and of course Mick and Shane Maxwell, who's here today. It's their whole driving force, and it's wonderful to be surrounded by that. And I keep going back to that old phrase that when you're surrounded by good people, great things happen. So it's fantastic to be part of the QPU here. Also today, the most important guests, of course, the whole reason that we're really here is because of the award finalists. Their friends and family, some of them have been able to join us here today. And these are people who have changed the lives for the better for other Queenslanders. And that's something we need to reach out and tell people about, because a lot of these people do this without actually getting acknowledgement along the way. Sometimes their bosses don't always know exactly the level that they've gone to here to reach out to people and make things better. Before the inception of these awards, most of the community, and in fact probably some of the family members that are here today, didn't actually know the extent that these people have actually been involved in the community and the things that they've actually done to improve lives for others, and have been so selfless when they put on that uniform and head out into the community of Queensland and do what for them is just an average day. Most people looking around go, "You're kidding, you did what?" And I think today some of the family members, when they hear some of these stories, will actually be a little bit surprised. They may have a few hairs stand up on the back of the neck. There may be a few tingles. There also may be a little punch on the arm because they wouldn't reveal the whole story when they got home after that particular shift. So it's great that we can expose these stories and share them amongst the community today. There's a couple of housekeeping things that we always have to do at these particular awards. We have a couple of ways of getting in and out of the room here today. The door that you came in through is your priority exit in and out. We also have the last door on the end here is where you're able to head out. And if you need to go to the bathrooms, they're right at the end of the corridor under this undercover area. You'll find them up there. If you're one of those people who still like to involve in a cigarette or something like that, we've got you right over in the back corner. You'll have to leave the building and pretty much stand on the break wall over there, away from everybody else in the blazing sun to enjoy your gasper. So please don't have it anywhere around here. You'll be over in the back corner as well. Looking around the room, if you look left and right, if there is an emergency, I think you're pretty much going to be in good hands. If the person behind you sort of doesn't want to take that leadership role, you can just run with your hands in the air screaming out those particular doors, and I'm sure somebody will be able to assist you there. COVID, of course, doesn't stop just because we're in a room full of first responders. So the rules today: while you are sitting down, eating, drinking, you can remove your mask. If you're standing up, you cannot be served any food or drink, and you must wear your mask. The same as when you leave your table to head off to the bathrooms or to do anything else, to stretch your legs or whatever, you must have your mask with you. So they're part of the rules of engagement today to be able to participate in this particular event. And also, the new modern scourge: please turn your phones to silent. We encourage you to take photos of the recipients. There'll be plenty of opportunities to do some set photos later. But during the actual ceremony, if you could please have your phones on silent or turn them off altogether and just breathe without having to worry about your phone, would be fantastic. I'd like to invite to the stage the QA's chaplain, Clark, to be able to give us a blessing and to be able to brief us here and share the love and the wisdom that's come from his many years of service. Thank you, Clark.
Don't know about the wisdom part, but anyway, but certainly many years. But I just want to quickly acknowledge Mike Curry, the CEO for QBank, and certainly Bruce Jones, just in regards to your staff and QBank and what you do. Amazing job, guys. Amazing job. You really do. And certainly appreciate it. I think certainly as we get together and we come just in regards to acknowledge everyday heroes. Well, there's no doubt there's not one person in this room has not been in a position where you've helped someone. And you know what the cool thing about it? No one looks for a pat on the back. So we really appreciate what's been done today. For those who may not know me, of course, my name is Clark Mccauley. I'm the senior chaplain, 33 years, currently serving still on road as a senior paramedic. So, and I'm privileged to come here and just have this time to bless this time. So for those of faith and maybe those not of faith, we can just bow our heads and we'll just bless this time. Father God, we just thank you, Father. Thank you, God, that there are very real people in our everyday life, Father, that make differences in our community, make differences in our workplace. We thank you, Father God, for those hearts of serving, those hearts of helping. We thank you even today that as we gather, God, that we have the opportunity to also acknowledge, Father God, and thank those that constantly put their lives at risk and everyday things, Father. We acknowledge it, we recognize it, and we just want to ask your blessing upon this time now, Father, that you would just cover us, Father God, and just bless this time. In the mighty name of Jesus, we ask and pray these things. Amen.
Thank you, Clark, for the blessing. I'd now like to invite QBank Chairman Darryl Morton to give us a little presentation.
Thank you, Darren. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm not as good as the people who came before me because I need to use notes. I don't think I've had quite as much practice as they have, so you'll bear with me. The QBANK Everyday Heroes Awards are a calendar highlight for us. After last year's COVID break, we are indeed fortunate to be able to gather here in Townsville. It is time to celebrate the everyday heroes in our community, those people that symbolise the legions of everyday heroes that make Queensland a better place. There are three things that make everyday heroes. First is that they all have a unique story, a story that tells of a challenge and how they rise to that challenge, often putting themselves in harm's way in the process, and they get the job done. Second, that they have someone in their lives, colleague, friend, family member, maybe even a complete stranger, who has been so moved by their dedication that they picked up a pen, I'm showing my age, or an iPad and wrote down that story. Finally, it's their humility. Not one of our everyday heroes ever expects recognition. If I can borrow from one of our 2019 finalists, Constable Mallory Hoffmeyer. Constable Hoffmeyer said, "I didn't expect to be nominated for any award. It's what everybody in my job does every single day." While today is all about our everyday heroes, I want to take a moment to thank a few people who, without whose support and determination, we would not be here in Townsville today. They're the regional heads of all the services. Thank you. My fellow director, Paul Wilson, he's one of those people who doesn't stand up very often. When he does, it's a bit hard to get him to sit down. But Paul, thank you. Our very own Tony Ross, Bruce Jones and his amazing team. They pulled together today, not really being sure if the event was going to be even held right up until the last moment. So thank you, Bruce and your team. And of course, our compere, Darren Curtis, who gave an undertaking today that he wasn't going to pull my leg in advance of coming up on the stage. So well done, Darren, stuck to the script. That was great, thank you. So to all those finalists with us today, and to all of our nominees, we thank you for your work in the Queensland community. It is your efforts that continue to guide what we do at QBank. We are proud and privileged to support those who so selflessly serve this great state. I'd like to now invite the member for Thuringoa, Mr. Aaron Harper, to the stage to say a few words. Thank you.
I came that way because that stage needs some WD-40, but it's going to have quite a few people on it throughout the afternoon. Thank you very much, Daryl, and to all of your QBank, I should say, chairman, all your directors. Thank you for bringing this event to regional Queensland. Can I start by acknowledging the traditional owners, the Waggarookba and Bindal people. Thank you, Brenton, for your introduction. We're very proud to have two of the world's oldest living cultures in Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people represented here today, and we deeply value the connections we have to country here in Townsville. Townsville's a pretty special place, particularly in the last couple of years, and particularly in this last year. We've held some major events. We won't talk about the State of Origin result. We will talk about the All Blacks, showing my Kiwi connection. We will talk about the Wallabies or NRL finals, but we're also going to talk about you. We're going to talk about the people that make this state great. It's an absolute honour to represent the Minister here today, and if you had notes, I've got a book, but I want to tell you what's inside that book. I'm not going to read them all, but I do want to reflect on the amount of people that have gone above and beyond, as Darren said, throughout the state. Now, whether you are a nurse on a Brisbane road delivering a baby, whether you're our SES folk that filled boats here in the Townsville floods in 2019, whether you're a police officer that goes above and beyond in their normal daily duties, each of you, SES, fire, police, corrections, our custodial officers. We have a 15-year-old that ran out of the surf on the Gold Coast here today being nominated to save someone's life in the Young Hero Award. And I spoke to Will earlier, and he should be incredibly proud because this is what makes Queensland great. We look after people in our community, and I'll declare now, when Clark said 1990, I think my dear friend Clark McGill, thank you for that prayer. I started in 1985 working in health before joining ambulance, of which I still volunteer at Curwen Station. I'm very pleased to see today that we're actually over at Curwen Station announcing the Deputy Commissioner for Northern Region. So we now have a Deputy Commissioner of Police and we have a Deputy Commissioner of Ambulance, Jared, talking to the Commissioner of Police. The power in this room is incredible. But it's what we all do together that makes us special from all of those organisations, and I'm so very pleased to see the military represented here today as well. I had a chat with a couple of those recruits on the way through. I'm hoping some of them stay in North Queensland because it's a great place to live. But today is about those people that did or do things that are incredibly special in their service. One of the things I'll reflect on is what happens when one of us or one of your people in your organisation is injured or gets sick. and that's you come together. Now, you already do this on a daily basis. You go out to the community and you help everyone in incredibly difficult, challenging situations every single day. 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. But it always hurts a little bit when it's one of your own. And I want to just pay special tribute to the Queensland Police that have certainly been through challenges recently, and I'm very pleased to see the police union is represented well here today as well. To each of you, thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you do for your fellow man, for your fellow colleagues. I wish you well in your nominations. You should be incredibly proud, no matter which organisation you represent, because you make Queensland great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aaron, and hopefully you can convey to the Minister, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, just about the talent that is in this room, and also the flexibility that's been allowed to allow so many people here today to be able to celebrate the magnificent achievement of these people. So please pass that on to the Minister on our behalf. I'd now like to invite QBANK CEO Mike Curry to deliver a short address.
Thanks, Darren. It's a dead set speechathon, Brucey, so we'll get over this one over and done with quickly, but there's some good material in here. I don't know who wrote it, but it's fantastic. Anyway, look, it is wonderful to be here in Townsville. As some of the other speakers have said, we didn't, right up until yesterday, we didn't know if we were going to be able to have the event, so it is great to be here. This has been 2 years in the making. We decided back in 2019 that we were going to move the event out of Brisbane and come to Townsville, and it is wonderful that we're able to be here. On behalf of QBank, I'd like to welcome all of our special guests, and especially this year's finalists. Many of you have had to travel to be here, and again, in the current environment, there's not a lot of fun in that, and we thank you for making the effort. Following our 2020 event being cancelled due to the pandemic, we're pleased that you could all be with us here today. We're joined by many new faces taking part in the event, but also for the first time we're live streaming, so welcome to everyone watching online as well. QBank's Everyday Hero Awards are an opportunity for us to recognise Queensland heroes who devote their lives to bettering their communities and helping others in need without asking for anything in return. For the last 7 years, the awards have formed a core part of QBank's Community Proud initiative, recognising those who have made a difference in the community, those who have achieved their best, and those who serve others. Following 2 years that have brought unprecedented challenges, many of us never thought we would face in our careers. This year's awards are a special and timely moment to recognise those who've kept our communities on their feet and our loved ones safe through it all. Amid the global pandemic that's shaken us all, our communities have also been tested with floods, fires and extreme weather, which has made for an incredibly demanding time for our frontline workers and emergency teams. Now this is the best bit, Bruce. As British poet George Herbert once wrote, now I don't even remember reading George Herbert, Bruce, but he must have been on form line on Sky Racing or something one night. But anyway, he wrote that storms make trees take deeper roots, which is very profound. Many of us will agree these hard times have given us a better hold on life and heightened appreciation for each other. It's been incredible to see the Queensland community band together and find a renewed respect for our frontline service personnel each and every day. This year's awards have garnered more than 170 nominations, acknowledging some truly inspirational and commendable efforts. The nominations recognise and acknowledge the amazing stories of our police officers, fire and emergency services personnel, paramedics, corrective services officers, health workers and volunteers who have all gone above and beyond the call of duty. Although going above and beyond has become business as usual for those who protect, serve and heal our communities, and we understand many of today's nominees and finalists are reluctant to be called heroes for simply doing your jobs, I encourage you all to take pride in this recognition, as this is one of the few opportunities many get to acknowledge the critical work of our frontline within our communities. With that in mind, I'd just like to offer my personal thanks to all the finalists who join us today and congratulate you on your fantastic achievements. Thanks.
You head towards the things we're meant to run from.
Get on the ground! Do it! Do it!
You're prepared for anything. You have to be. No single day is the same. You know firsthand that sometimes real life is more horrifying than fiction.
It's one thing to turn up to these scenes in the hours of darkness, but when you realise that it's one of your friends.
From bushfires ravaging our great state, consuming floods, to an unseen enemy so powerful it shut down the whole world. But even when the world shuts down, you rise up. Because it's your job, and the front line is your office. To our protectors, carers, healers, rescuers, defenders, you might not think you're a hero, but we do. This is our tribute to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Very powerful images there. And as a couple of the speakers have already said, that's the stuff you guys are doing every single day and you don't think it's fancy. Well, the community do, and they respect you for it. We're going to have a quick break. I think it's time now for people to maybe stretch your legs. Don't forget your mask routine. Entree will be served at the back of the table, the complex here. There's some other drinks if you want some soft drinks or some colder waters and things like that. We'll have a quick break and then we'll come back with our very first awards for the day. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you could start heading back towards your seats, we'll get the next phase underway. Hopefully everyone had a good break there and had the opportunity to chat alongside the people that are alongside them. And of course, they've done a great job today here at QBank. They've been able to mix all the tables up. So we've got people from all the different services around and probably people that you may not traditionally mix with at a social function, because if it's a typical Australian event, people stand here and people stand there. They all stand together in their little work groups. So it's great today to be able to have everybody mixing and exchanging ideas and notes on what their particular profession is doing. As you heard, they had over 179 entries. People submitted others that they thought were deserving of some acknowledgement for the brave acts they've done, or in fact, just doing community things, doing good deeds. So that's great across this services that we've had so many people coming forth believing that others deserve some recognition. Somehow, the judging panel have been able to narrow it down to 24 finalists. And they're the people that protect, serve, heal and care for Queenslanders. They do it every single day without thinking about it. So we've been able to bring it down into 6 award categories. And all of these underpin the values of what QBank is all about and, of course, deserve recognition as everyday heroes. Today, 5 of the category winners will receive, and I hope you know this, maybe you don't. If you are a category winner, you receive $1,000 in cash. That was the Commissioner of Police. You also get another $1,000 that you can pass on to the charity of your choice. So that allows these great people that are caring and giving to continue the great caring and giving and sharing their success with others throughout the community. The only difference is our Young Everyday Heroes Award winner today will receive a $500 bursary that can assist them with their training, development, and potentially put towards an employment course or something like that. We'll have the awards presented in two parts so it becomes manageable. The first will be our Achievement Award, then the Dedication Award, followed by the Young Everyday Heroes Award. For each award category, we will read each particular finalist. When I read your name, pop up out of your seat, head towards what is my right over here, come up the set of steps where you'll be met by Matt and Mike from the QBANK, and you'll be presented with your certificate, and then head along here and we'll get a photo of all the finalists together. We'll announce the winner and then they can cheer and dance and jump as they realise they're spending $1,000 or gifting it to the Police Commissioner to help with her COVID budget. Okay, I'd like to ask Mike and Matt if you'd please come up to do our official duties here as our recipients come up. Our first award today is the QBANK Everyday Heroes Award for Achievement. This award recognises an individual has delivered outstanding performance and high achievement in their workplace or community, and has also inspired and encouraged optimism, enjoyment and fun in those around them. Now, these finalists are in no particular order, but our first one that we will ask up today is Stephen Bertelsen from Queensland Corrective Services. Steve is a dog handler from the Delta unit at Maryborough Correctional Centre Correction Facilities. He was nominated for his response to a hostage incident at the centre in April 2021. A prisoner was taken hostage by another in his cell and was threatened with a noose and a sharpened implement. As officers responded and planned their tactical response, it was identified that the highly volatile situation could cause significant harm to both officers and the other prisoner. The tactical response team entered the unit with Steve and were able to use chemical agents to subdue the prisoner. Following this, the prisoner was provided aftercare and was then escorted away to the detention unit. Steve's response to the incident, as well as his commitment to restoring order and security after the event, prevented a significant amount of harm occurring in what was a very dynamic incident. Steve is an asset, of course, to the QCS and Queenslanders as he goes above and beyond time and again to keep our officers, prisoners and the Queensland community safe. Ladies and gentlemen, one of our finalists, Steve Bertelsen. Our next finalist is Trevor Turner from the Queensland Rural Fire Service. For more than 20 years, Trevor has led the Mount Alford Rural Fire Brigade. He's also been in charge of the Boona Group. Trevor works tirelessly in the area, often to the detriment of his own farming enterprise. His local knowledge is outstanding and is in high regard. During the 2019-20 bushfire season, he spent more than 60 days straight leading in the field. He left his poor wife behind to manage the property and keep it running. Often he managed just on 3 or 4 hours sleep a day. He didn't want to step away from committing to his community. In addition to this, he's recently been responsible for future-proofing firefighting efforts as he's been able to procure a 32,000 litre water tanker for use in his area, but also to be available for other parts of the state. He's described as an exceptional individual, which I don't think probably sits too comfortably with Trevor. But thank you, Trevor, for your dedication to your colleagues, your community and your local area. Ladies and gentlemen, Trevor Turner. Our third finalist is Claire Pass from the Queensland Ambulance Service. Claire has shown great leadership within the QAS since moving out to St George. Claire has always put her hand up to take control of difficult situations and has been able to support her colleagues through any type of process. She often speaks up for her colleagues to make sure that they have a voice, particularly with graduate and new paramedics. Claire has also created a lot of trust within the St George Ambulance Station and collaborates well with other services and stakeholders within the community. She's the first to help out at any community event and has also taken on the local fair and inclusive paramedic network role. Claire has been dedicated to this role to improve QAS and make sure it is a great service that people will want to work in. Through these experiences, Claire has shown her knowledge and understanding of QAS in order to promote the service in St George and within the community. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate Claire Pass. Our fourth finalist in this category is Erin Werner from Queensland Health. Erin Werner is the Nurse Unit Manager of the COVID-19 Vaccination Centre on the Gold Coast, and is part of the Queensland Health and Hospital Service, obviously. Erin has demonstrated significant dedication, leadership and hard work, being in charge of the successful opening and running of the COVID-19 vaccine rollout for the Queensland community. Having already vaccinated tens of thousands of members of the community, Erin has dedicated more hours and less sleep to ensure the safe and effective rollout of the vaccine initiative, managing 200+ nursing staff during this particular event. The biggest achievement to date is opening of the Broadbeach Mass Vaccination Centre. My friends have been there actually, thanks very much Erin. That aims to provide thousands of vaccines to Queensland community and ensure accessibility to all members of the community during this very difficult time. Erin is inspirational and all of her staffing colleagues are very proud members of her team and proud of working alongside Erin. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Erin Werner. As I said at the outset, this could be no easy decision for any of our judges to come up with a winner here because so many people are deserving. But the winner of the Achievement Award is Trevor Turner. Trevor, if you'd like to take your mask off, step forward with Mike. He'll present you with the award and we'll have a quick photo. Just step forward to the X's there for us, Trev. Rowan? Trevor, just before you go.
Just don't forget, I'm a country boy.
Well, Trevor, what is the drive for you to be a volunteer and to commit so many hours of your own time to do something like this?
I love fires. You know, at a very young age, I learnt to burn scrubland with my father with a knapsack. And I found it very easy to put fires out. So, you know, the knowledge that my father gave me helped me to where I am now. You know, when we went through that campaign fire, I didn't know anything about a state of emergency. I didn't know anything about a campaign. I didn't even know what a divisional commander was. So, you know, I've since done the divisional commander course and we had fires like I've never seen before because we just couldn't stop them. And when the wind came on the mountain ranges, if we didn't stop them on the mountain range, they would have taken out communities. And we were lucky enough to get backburns in. You know, it was a part of my life I've never seen before, but I was very lucky to have a partner. I picked her up out of a primary producer brigade because one day in at an incident control, this lady yelled out at me, "Trevor, get someone to pencil for you." And I won't say who the incident controller was, so I thought about it and I thought, I've had 6 guys and they're no good. They tried telling me what to do. And I picked up this little lady, 47-year-old out of Carney's Creek Brigade, and she was fantastic. She was a terrific firefighter and I can't type, you know, and so she did all the typing and mapping for me and that's why I'm here today, because of Louise.
Trevor, thank you very much. I think it must be a little smoky up here because I think that the eyes are getting a little misty, so maybe it's just the smoke in your uniform or something like that.
I think my mental health has been restored today because I didn't think anybody did care
And out on the fire ground, we had a lot of trees falling around us. And one incident I had on Cunningham's Gap, Louise was 20 metres away from me, and I had other crews there, and a big tree came down the gap, and it just reminds you how close life could be lost, you know. And it was a tree 12 metres long and bigger than you could get your arms around, so it was dangerous out there. I had a lot of sleepless nights.
Trevor, thank you very much for your commitment to our community. Thanks for doing what you do. Take one step forward. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Trevor Turner. Thank you very much to our other finalists. Isn't that powerful when you hear from a guy who was standing out there in that fire that trees were dropping around them, widowmakers all around the place, and they still kept turning up for 60 days straight. Amazing. Thank you very much, Trevor. The next award is the QBANK Everyday Heroes Award for dedication. This award recognises an individual who has shown extreme dedication to the lives around them by displaying determination and strength of character, and has inspiring loyalty in their workplace or community. Please welcome our first finalist, David Miles, from the Queensland Police Service. Detective Senior Sergeant David Miles is the current OIC at the Townsville Child Protection and Investigation Unit. Detective Miles has been a police officer since 1987, an investigator since 1992, and has worked as a detective in regional Queensland before moving to Townsville. He was promoted to Detective Senior Sergeant and Suspected Child Abuse and Neglect Coordinator in Townsville in 2004, established a benchmark for joint agency responses to child protection matters. He was then the officer in charge of the Townsville Child Protection Investigation Unit in 2007. As officer in charge, Detective Miles has continued to investigate complex child protection investigations while providing leadership and expertise to other investigators. Detective Miles' dedication, commitment, experience and knowledge in the child protection field is highly regarded by various agencies, and he has championed the implementation and strengthening of technology in child protection investigations, particularly online child exploitation. Detective Miles is highly committed and passionate about child protection and undertakes many hours of unpaid work ensuring the QPS is providing the best possible service to child abuse and sexual assault victims. Ladies and gentlemen, Detective Senior Sergeant David Miles. Our second finalist is Peter Mccauley from the Queensland Police Service. Pete Mccauley was well and truly putting his body on the line to protect the people of Queensland. Constable Mccauley has shown bravery and dedication to his community safety, embodying the true service so that many Queenslanders have come to know and love about our frontline services. Constable Mccauley returned to work in April 2020 after being hit by a stolen car at Bhuji while keeping the community safe. Constable Mccauley underwent surgery after sustaining serious head injuries and was in an induced coma in the intensive care unit at the Princess Alexandra Hospital. Constable Mccauley has sustained a number of other serious injuries during the incident, including broken bones and fractures, and it was a great significant pleasure to see him return to duty within the Queensland Police Service. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Mccauley. Our third finalist is Renee Robertson from the State Emergency Service. Renee has been a volunteer with the SES for 15 years and a scout leader for 5 years. Renee is also involved in helping her community in every aspect that she can. On many occasions, she's been known to go from one organisation to another, following on to another, volunteering numerous hours to help the community in our times of need. She's also been nominated as the Queensland Volunteer of the Year. Renee's response to being nominated has always been, "It's not about me, it's always a team effort," putting the assessments on the team into all of her work. Renee is also a single mother of 2 children living with disabilities and showcases to the next generation how much she enjoys volunteering and helping others. We're very grateful for people like Renee, and I'd like you to put your hands together for Renee Robertson from the SES. Our fourth finalist unfortunately couldn't be here with us today due to a changing shift, and that is Elliot Bates from the Queensland Ambulance Service. Elliot works with the service in the Flight Critical Care paramedic role. He's the acting officer in charge of Brisbane's Archerfield Flight Base, so hence why he has a very key role and could change at short notice. While being a dedicated leader with QAS, Elliot also volunteers as a substantial amount of his time with Surf Life Saving Queensland as a helicopter air crewman and undertakes the volunteer position of the State Helicopter Coordinator. His role requires a lot of volunteered time to maintain operational capability of 2 Surf Life Saving rescue helicopters, crewed by both volunteer and paid staff at both the Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast. Through his roles in both critical paramedic care and volunteer surf life saving, Elliot shows his dedication and commitment to the community of Queensland. While he isn't here with us, I have it on good authority that he is watching this online feed. So ladies and gentlemen, he's not here, but let's clap him anyway because he's going to hear it. And the winner of the QBANK Everyday Heroes Award for dedication is Peter Mccauley. Pete, just before you go, we heard that you had significant injuries, but I don't think people here really know the extent of those. It sounds almost like a shopping list for what every young medical student's probably going to encounter when they go through training. Give everyone here a list of some of the things that have happened to you, because standing here looking at you today, you're looking fit, you're looking like you're back into it, you're ready to tackle life again. Tell us about that extensive list you've overcome.
Oh, I am fit and ready to get back into it, but pretty much broke every bone in my face. The severe brain trauma, they had to take part of my skull out, so I had a craniotomy. They put that very same bone back in, which is quite phenomenal. They kept it in a bloody fridge or freezer or whatever they do for 8 months while I healed, but broke my neck in a couple of places. They fused that, limited range of movement through there. Left arm's pretty cooked. Got a piece of metal that runs the length of that. And then, yeah, no internal injuries actually, which is quite surprising. And then just my knee, that's as far as I can bend my leg. So it was complete dislocation. Patella was smashed, ankle was broken as well. But yeah, that was a quick rundown.
It's amazing how you roll through that and you've recovered. I mean, that shows not only your dedication, but also the dedication of the medical staff and everybody around you who has helped you get to this spot right here now today, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the support from all the medical professionals, buddy, I wouldn't be where I am. Like, I should be dead, to be fair. Dave Masters is a stark reminder of that. Like, yeah, I should be dead. So props to all the medical staff, AMBOs, coppers that dealt with me. You're the reason why I'm still here. But love and support from family, friends too. I forgot what the question was. I was just off on a different train of thought then. But yeah, what was the question?
That was good. You answered it perfectly. If you go and stand out there, that piece of brain might thaw out for you a little bit in that sunshine, I think. I think they might have had it in the deep freeze for you.
Yeah.
Good on you, mate. Thanks again, Pete. We appreciate that. When Pete rolls that through that list of things that have happened to him, you could be, most people would sort of go, okay, that's enough. I've had enough. Thanks. I'm going to walk away. I'm just lucky to be sitting here, happy breathing and what have you. But he's got such a drive and he's a happy bloke. So I just think that dedication is very evident in you, Peter, in everything that you do. And it's wonderful that so many people here today can see that in you and that you've been acknowledged for that within our community. Thank you very much, Peter. Our next award in this segment is the QBANK Young Everyday Heroes Award. Now, this one is a little bit different. There isn't a whole list of finalists because when the judging panel read through this, they were overwhelmed by what they had read and said, we don't need to go any further. We have a clear winner here right from the outset. So they decided to do away with the finalists and give it to this particular person who has done something absolutely outstanding. The award recognises a young person who has made an admirable contribution to our community, has overcome barriers or difficulties, and has shown dedication of training and development. At 15 years old, this young boy, a Gold Coast local, pulled on all his experience, as young as it was, in surf life saving. After having a surf on his own one day, he packed up his board and decided it was time to go home. He'd had enough. He's standing just not far from the beach, waiting for his mum to come and pick him up, when he spotted a lady in distress running up and down the sand. He approached her, asked her what was wrong, and this woman indicated that her husband was struggling in the surf and she didn't know what to do. Her husband had lost his surfboard, was facing severe difficulties, and she really had a genuine thought that he was about to drown at any moment. Without hesitation, our young hero grabbed his own surfboard, ran to the beach and commenced a search. He located the man in just a few minutes, swam out to him with his board, pushing through the waves, handed his board over to this particular man who was certainly struggling, gave him some confidence, gave him a chance to catch his breath, and then swam alongside him and brought him back to the beach to safety. He's been praised for going above and beyond his years and the kindness that he showed to that particular family on that day without hesitation. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2021 QBANK Young Everyday Heroes Award winner, Will Prentice. Will, I'm always intrigued by this. When people do incredible acts of bravery like you did, and you've saved someone's life, you've kept a family intact by the actions that you did, since then, have they followed up and have they said thank you or kept in touch with you?
Yeah, like a week later after the rescue, the guy came, dropped off my board because it broke. He got it fixed for me and thanked me for what I did and stuff.
That's pretty nice, isn't it? Because so often we hear people move on and they forget about the fact that they can move on is because of what someone's done for them. Having done this now, do you think this opens the door for you to become a regular in Bondi Rescue, or perhaps maybe going to Hawaii and going to, you know, one of those Baywatch type shows or something like that, mate?
No.
Mate, congratulations, enjoy your bursary, and I hope that it does open another door for you to hopefully get you into the trade that you seek, or perhaps a new educational element for you as well. Thank you very much, Will. Congratulations, Will Prentice. We're going to have a short 20-minute break, so that gives everybody the opportunity to go and stretch the legs or duck out to the rooms if they need to. During that period of time, the main meal will be served. And again, it's another opportunity for everybody to exchange a few ideas, have a bit of a chit-chat, start texting people about some of the amazing stories that you've heard here today, and asking others to maybe consider their workmates nominating them for one of these awards. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've all been enjoying your meals. We'll continue on with the second phase of our awards here today. It's interesting just having a chat to people and the things you find out while we're interacting like that. And I was talking to Aaron Harper earlier, and he was just mentioning how he saw the great things that Ian Levers had done with Police Legacy and saw what a valued added element it was to the police service, and how that became the blueprint to set up Ambulance Legacy, and that people are actually sort of falling over themselves in the community to help out our legacy organisations, which is fantastic, because in these tough times, a lot of people don't know exactly where their next dollar is coming from all the time. And so when you come forward and say, look, this is to help injured police officers, this is to help injured ambulance officers, etc., our frontline people, that the community, no matter how hard they're doing, still find those $5 or $10 to throw in or put together an event. They're very happy to do that because of the special place that the frontline staff hold. And that's because, and I mentioned this to Aaron, is because you are the people they ring in their darkest hour. When everything's turned to clag around their life, they pick up the phone and they expect you to answer their call and respond to them, and you do it. Right across whatever task you have to do, you respond. And I think that holds a very special place in the heart of our community. So it's wonderful that that cross-pollinisation is happening, and the great beneficiaries, of course, are our frontline staff who give day in, day out. They lose their public holidays, they lose their Christmas, Easter, all those types of things are sacrificed so that they can serve our community. And a lot of people who may have worked in different trades, never work shift work, never understand the pain that comes with that when you go home and you've got those family commitments as well. Welcome back to our online people that are around Queensland watching us today. We're now into our second phase of the Everyday Heroes Awards today. Before we get into the next series of awards, I'd like to ask Mike Curry to come up, the CEO from QBANK. He has a special presentation for us that is worthwhile, that members here probably need to hear about today and probably can take some positive action out of.
Thanks, Darren, and welcome back. Our people have had the pleasure with working on an initiative with Deputy Commissioner Taylor and some of his staff here in Townsville, Tyler and Damien in particular, on an initiative really designed to help with QPS with talent attraction and retention, and we've come up with a joint video that I think you'll enjoy. This is a world premiere, I think, Bruce, isn't it? So I'll step aside and enjoy this. It's fantastic.
My name's Meg Rosa. I am a secondary constable and I'm based at Palm Island.
I'm Senior Sergeant Dave Rutherford. I'm the officer in charge here at Palm Island Station.
On Palm Island, you'll get opportunities to develop your career and benefit financially at the same time. It's a beautiful island, and the nature of policing can be both rewarding and dynamic. You can save a lot of money and you can set yourself up for the future.
I've been stationed here for just under 2 years. Coming out of my first year, I wanted to go somewhere that challenged myself, and how to do that was come to a small community and dive straight in, I suppose.
The environment on Palm gives a great learning experience for using and developing your communication skills, allows further opportunities that you may not get in other metro areas for that reason.
The team has to work very closely together because quite often you're working with only 2 or 3 other officers. We're a 24-hour roster. Every day always brings us challenges, but it's always rewarding.
I find it very rewarding in the sense that you have to make a rapport with the locals, and that can help you by volumes. You have a really good team. Everyone's very close-knit because it's just you and them on the island essentially. You don't have any other crews, it's just you and your partner. You have to learn very quickly, yeah.
Oh, look, in all aspects of law and order and community, it's all about getting police involvement in all community aspects. It's a way of where we want to take this community into the future and progress us where the kids of Palm Island have a future. No doubt that the police service is a key ingredient into those opportunities. We want to see officers on the ground that will inspire the next generation to take on board that role in community. It's all about ownership and responsibility.
and it certainly is financially rewarding because not only do you get allowances under the EB and opportunities to relieve at higher rank and overtime, we also have accommodation here that is supplied free to officers.
Palm Island's very financially attractive. We get a lot of extra benefits to come to Palm Island and work here, so that's also a very big plus. Due to being here for just about 2 years, I've financially set myself up quite well. I plan to buy a couple of properties, hopefully use my skills that I've learned on the island and take them to other Indigenous communities and see how I go.
So the great benefit of being on Palm Island as well is that even though it's a remote area, you still are only a 20-minute flight away or a 2-hour ferry. So you're still able to get back to the mainland of Townsville.
We go out spearfishing, we go hiking, there's heaps of little nice beaches that you can go down and spend the day with your friends or take the kayaks out. We've got a really good gym set up thanks to the social club. Pizza nights, we've got pizza ovens, there's heaps of stuff to do here.
Palm's unique in the sense that we're relocated. We're only about 55 k's off Townsville, the capital of North Queensland, and we've got everything available to us. So come on board and hopefully through your service we can start to make changes on the ground, and like I said, this place is one of a kind and that's how we want it to be into the future.
Thanks. Yeah, I think it was pretty good and well done to Bruce and Tony Ross in particular, the team, and thanks again, Paul, for allowing us to work on that with you. So one of the things, I think we've got a slide coming up, but we're not going to bore you with bank stuff today, but you know, the best thing about our bank is the engagement with the different first responder services, but you know, our job at the end of the day is to help our members and employees of the services get ahead financially and in life. Part of what we do is we send our relationship managers around to the workplaces to deliver educational seminars and help give our members and give you tips on how to get ahead. So we just wanted to share with you some of the statistics around that. Since I think 2018, we've delivered something in the vicinity of 11,000 sessions to 11,000 different members and non-members. So hopefully that continues to grow, and we look forward to delivering it for years to come. So anyway, thank you, Darren. I think we're back into it.
Thanks, Mike. That's great to hear, because I know I was recently in a discussion with Mick Barnes, Shane Maxwell and Ian Levers, talking to some members, and it was interesting to know that some of these members had been in police housing their entire career, were just about to leave the police service at 59 years of age and applying for their first home loan. So to hear those young constables talking about the fact that they're now already into the property market at such a young age and building their investment portfolio for their days ahead is outstanding, because I think some people in past have probably taken the wonderful allowances and all the benefits that come with living in remote and rural parts of Queensland for granted and enjoyed the ride, and probably haven't put away a little egg there in the basket. So it's great that you guys at QBank in particular are helping the next generation of police come through, and others, of course, from our other emergency services. So those ambulance officers, for example, that are out there getting to the remote rural postings as well, opportunity to knock on the door and find out how you can become a entrepreneur, you know, multi-million-dollar architect of your own super fund or something like that, and these guys will help you out along the way with a fantastic property portfolio. Police and Emergency Services Health Fund is also another organisation that looks after many of our awardees that you've seen here today. And the CEO, Scott Williams, couldn't get here today due to the COVID restrictions, etc. But a short time ago, he did record this message for you for today.
Hi, I'm Scott Williams and I'm the CEO of Police Health. I'm sorry I can't be there in person with you today, but I'd like to start by congratulating the first three winners for their recognition around outstanding achievement, dedication, and young everyday hero. I'd also like to share my admiration for all of the award nominees, and in particular congratulate all of the extraordinary finalists who've gone above and beyond the call of duty in protecting the Queensland community. Police Health are extremely proud to be supporters of the QBANK Everyday Hero Awards. We're grateful for the opportunity to recognise these remarkable individuals and their outstanding efforts. It's people like you, our everyday heroes, with your dedication and passion, often putting the needs of others ahead of your own, that really drive change in our community. You're an inspiration to bring out the hero in all of us. Police Health stands here today in celebration of your outstanding efforts and in support of you. Just as you support the community for whatever comes their way, know that we have your backs for whatever life throws at you. With our vision of creating a healthier future together, our members know that when they embark on their health journey with us, that we provide the peace of mind that we'll be there for them and put their needs ahead as well. From my perspective, that's why we do what we do. And I'm proud that we're able to provide the reassurance to our members that we are there for them when they need us most. Well, you're not here to listen to sponsors waffle on. So congratulations to the winners, to the remaining finalists, good luck. And thank you for your exceptional efforts to keep the Queensland community safe. From all of us here at Police Health, good luck, good health, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you.
That was Scott Williams from Police and Emergency Services Health. Our next three award categories include the Excellence Award, the Ownership Award, and the Working Together Award. We'll start off with the Award for Excellence first. Now, this recognises an individual who has shown innovation, independent and forward thinking, and excellence in their workplace and community. Our first finalist is Anu Waninayaka from Queensland Corrective Services. Anu is being recognised for her commitment to improving the lives of vulnerable people in the community, having been working as a senior case manager at Rockhampton Community Corrections. Every day she case manages high-risk supervised individuals in the community with the aim to reintegrate, educate and rehabilitate them and to increase the community safety by decreasing recidivism. Often working with individuals with severe mental health issues, drug and alcohol addiction and significant trauma. She assists them in understanding and gaining insight into their offending and creating a new pathway for them to become active members of the community. Anu shows great respect for every individual she meets and reviews their background, including the social and economic factors affecting them, without making any judgment. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Anu. Our second finalist is from the Queensland Police Service. Please welcome to the stage Paul Bagnall. Last July, Acting Sergeant Bagnall organised a swearing-in ceremony for Junior Police Officer Travis Heary, who was diagnosed with a very aggressive and incurable tumour that grows in the brain stem. Acting Sergeant Bagnall went above and beyond for Junior Constable Heary and had members of the Dog Squad, the Mounted Unit, the Special Emergency Response Team, Scenes of Crime and the Explosive Capability Robot attend the ceremony. He was giving young Travis a real-life experience to be sworn in as an officer and fulfil his dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, Acting Sergeant Bagnall. Our third finalist is Kimberly Allen from the Queensland Police Service. While on the job, Constable Kimberly Allen came into contact with 7-year-old Savannah Burns from Gatton. Savannah has been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and during the interaction she expressed her desire to be a police officer. Why wouldn't she? Upon receiving permission from young Savannah's parents and her supervisors, Constable Allen arranged several activities for Savannah to be a police officer for a day, which was held in March this year. It was a very special act and it deserves very special recognition. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please acknowledge Constable Kimberly Allen. Now this is something very rare, doesn't happen all too often at all. This year, there are 2 winners in the Everyday Heroes Award for Excellence. They are Paul Bagnall and Kimberly Allen. And we'll take some photos with your masks off. Kimberly, what sort of a change did you see in Savannah after the event that you organised?
Very happy girl. The light in her eyes lit up, obviously. Yeah. I think she had more of an impact on me than I had on her, though.
Because that is very interesting, isn't it? That you're doing this for her benefit, but you also get something out of it as well, in the sense of the achievement, and I guess your colleagues as well, by the things that they did for that little girl on that day.
Yeah, I'm up here taking the award, but I wouldn't have been able to do it without my team. We worked together. I couldn't have done it without them. Thanks, Catton Station.
They're probably all watching there online now. Paul, for you as well, I know I asked Kimberly this, but for your little fella, when you did that and you took him to all those different expertise fields within the service, and he walked away or had photos with them all, what was that? Was the light in the eyes there again?
Look, it was the most amazing experience. Trevor was my ultimate hero. Like, I've been in the military and the police. This little fella just had the courage of a lion and the heart of an angel. To see him leave at the end of that day and know that I made something special for him and his family absolutely made me just love my job so much. And sadly, I've got to leave it in 11 months. And ma'am, if I can give you my $1,000, can you let me go till I'm 60? I might even put it up to 1,050, ma'am. So, but no, it was just absolutely amazing. And you know, like they say, with honour we serve, and I truly believe that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul and Kimberly, thank you very much for your commitment, and to our other finalists, Anu. Congratulations, guys. What a fantastic memory for the families of those kids, that they'll have forever and a day those very cherished memories of the time that they spent and looking and feeling happy and being surrounded by such great role models. And you can tell by these two, it has definitely had an impact on both of them. It's amazing. So, and again, that's just something they've done off their own bat to organise, and they've coerced and made all their other colleagues get involved and that sort of thing as well. And everyone walks away a particular winner and with their heads held high in that regard. Congratulations, guys. Our next award is the Everyday Heroes Award for Ownership. This award recognises individuals who have demonstrated empowerment and integrity in their workplace or community, have undertaken ownership of a difficult situation, and have provided guidance and advice to those in need, often when it's most required. Our first finalist in this category is Hank Vanderbilt from the Queensland Corrective Services. Hank is a custodial corrections officer. In April of this year, he was off duty when he observed a Queensland police officer attempting to apprehend a wanted man in a shopping complex. While attempting to apprehend the man, Hank assisted the police officer in ensuring that the man was successfully taken into custody without further incident. In doing so, he demonstrated exceptional conduct to assist an officer of a fellow department and applied the skills and tactics from his own profession to provide assistance during a highly volatile situation. His acts were greatly appreciated by the police. His support has seen him duly recognised for his contribution and dedication to ensuring the safety of the community. Hank is an excellent example of maintaining a commitment to keep the community safe, whether on or off the clock, and it's this kind of ongoing dedication that keeps our community indebted to the front line. Ladies and gentlemen, Hank Vandermeer. Our second finalist is Tracy Hartley from the Queensland Police Service. Tracy has been the Uniform for Kids South Eastern Region Coordinator since the program's inception in 2018. Uniforms for Kids is a wonderful first program which recycles old law enforcement and emergency services uniforms into, some would say, beautiful and unique clothing for children who have a need. Tracy has established a number of networks of retirees who repurpose police uniforms into clothing for children in need within their local region, and to date Tracy has distributed over 1,000 items of clothing to victims of bushfires at local hospitals, DV shelters, non-government agencies and schools. None of this would have occurred without Tracy's organisational and planning skills, and most importantly, her leadership skills. Tracy organises the collection of the used uniforms from all areas of the region, sorts them, delivers them to the volunteers, supplies them with the accessories needed to sew, and collects that clothing when it's done, reviews each article, tags each article, and then distributes them to children who have that need. Inspirational work, Tracy. Ladies and gentlemen, Tracy Hartley from the Queensland Police Service. Our third finalist in the ownership category is Emily Steve from Mater Health. Emily is a trainee midwifery nurse who was walking to work at Mater Hospital when she saw a car randomly pull over to the side of an overpass in front of her. It was only 1 kilometre from the hospital. I guess we can fill in the blanks of what's going on here. Emily walked over to assist when she saw the mother in labour in the front seat. And the couple were looking at their little baby's head because it was visible in the front seat. Without hesitation, Emily jumped right in to help the mother. Probably couldn't tell the dad to go and get some towels and hot water, but she managed to calm the entire situation, and it resulted in the safe delivery of the baby on the side of the road. Ladies and gentlemen, Emily Steve. And the winner of the QBANK Everyday Heroes Award for Ownership is Tracy Hartley. Tracy, what was the inspiration to repurpose old coppers, old fireys, old Ambos uniforms?
Look, I can't take credit for that. I have to acknowledge Annie McDonald at Uniforms for Kids, but just a huge thank you to them. And I met her a few years ago and she was inspiring to me, and she's a hero to me. So to be able to roll it out to South East Queensland, and it doesn't go to land disposal. The children that I've helped, the hospitals, the fire victims, just the community in whole has been fantastic. It's a great initiative and absolutely love it.
What reaction do you get, say, for example, from fire victims who have just lost everything potentially, and then you turn up with a bag of all these different clothes, and then you explain that they're actually made from old uniforms? How do they respond to that?
So I remember when I went out to the bushfires and these children were just devastated. You know, they had no home, everything had burnt down, they had no clothing, they had nothing. Sorry, I'm emotional now. But just to see these kids and just to be able to connect with the community and look at their face of joy and satisfaction that not only did a police officer give this to me, but I've lost everything and now it was our turn to give back to the community.
Amazing feeling. Yeah. And again, it must be smoky up here again somehow, I don't know why. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate Senior Sergeant Tracy. The next award is the final category for today, the QBANK Everyday Heroes Award for Working Together. This award recognises an individual or a team who have demonstrated and encouraged outstanding teamwork, trust, fairness, respect, and diversity in their workplace or community. Our first group of finalists are 3 police heroes: Adrian Studholm, Amanda Gould, and Paul James. from the Queensland Police Service. These guys, I think, went all around the world for their particular incident. It happened when a 10-week-old baby was rushed into Gracemere Police Station, not breathing. Senior Constable Adrian Studholm, Senior Constable Gould, Senior Constable James assisted officers with CPR. The three worked together to provide life-saving treatment to the baby until the ambulance could get there. These actions saw the baby start to breathe again and regain consciousness, so they well and truly saved this little one's life. Forever and a day, you guys are the coppers that did the CPR in the station, and it's, as I said, gone around the world. Congratulations, our team of Adrian, Amanda and Paul. Now guys, you're going to have to scrunch up on the stage here because our second group of finalists are also from the Queensland Police Service. Please welcome Dane Britton, Matt Powell and Ryan Cole. These three police officers pledged to run 166 kilometres to raise funds for the Children's Hospital Foundation. On September 12, 2020, Senior Constable Dane Britton from Petrie Station, Senior Constable Ryan Cole from Caboolture Criminal Investigation Branch, and Senior Constable Matt Powell from the Fortitude Valley Bike Squad began their 166 kilometre race in 24 hours. The trio ran and rode along the Brisbane Valley Trail to raise funds for the Children's Hospital Foundation, as we mentioned. They collected over $20,000, which went into life-saving medical equipment, groundbreaking research into childhood cancers and essential family services. They were featured in an article in the Queensland Police Union Journal where they made the admission that they also made a wrong turn, and I think they racked up 180 kilometres or something like that. So the official figure was 166, but in actual fact, they just tacked on a few more. They were enjoying themselves so much out there sweating. Great work, Dane, Matt and Ryan. Congratulations. This stage is going to get crowded. Today's Working Together Award next finalists are Andrew Cowie and Phil Frost from the Queensland Police Service. Inspector Andrew Cowie led a Queensland Police team to rescue 4 backpackers who were trapped in floodwaters in the North Queensland Valley for several days. They were trapped at a remote campsite. Police and rangers were not able to reach the group by foot or by car. Thankfully, that group eventually were winched out to safety by an emergency helicopter piloted by Phil Frost, who's obviously not with us here today. Andrew and Phil were integral in the rescue mission and led a large group to work together when it was certainly most needed. They saved the lives of all the 4 backpackers, and thank you very much, Andrew and Phil, for your leadership and dedication to the job. Congratulations. Our next group of finalists is very dear to the heart of the people in Townsville. They work together, and it recognises Rhys, Bhuji and Richard Patrick from the Queensland State Emergency Service. Rhys and Patrick showcased incredible bravery in February 2019 when Townsville was subjected to monsoonal rain, which resulted in complicated, fast-flowing floodwaters and floodwaters that were rising rapidly throughout the area. So quickly, many people were trapped in their homes. Others simply refused to leave until the water was almost at the top of their roofs and things. Rhys and Richard operated their flood boat throughout the night. Amid all of those elements, they rescued, just the 2 of them, 119 people and their pets. Now, a lot of people say, what about the pets? A lot of people won't leave their home unless they can take Pussy with them, or they can take the little puppy with them as well, or the budgerigard. So it's quite important that you're able to fit the Noah's Ark on there as well and rescue those people, because sometimes that's the clincher that gets them off the steps and into the boat. Congratulations, boys. The winner of the 2021 QBANK Everyday Heroes Award for working together is Rhys Bhuji and Richard Patrick. Righto, Rhys, on that particular night, it would have been a whole lot easier to just stay at home in the nice dry and the warm. Why did you decide to get out there in that boat in all of those conditions and do what you did?
That's just, what we didn't really sign up to do that at the time, but when you joined the State Emergency Service, you had a vow to give back to the community, and at that time, we were asked to step up, and we took that and we stepped up. But to make things a little harder to leave home, not many people know at the time my wife was 38 weeks pregnant with our firstborn son. So, it made it that little bit harder to say, we made that decision, and she may go into labour and I may miss her going into labour. But the pair of us, we made that decision, and I went to SES, and Richard and I got in a flood boat and we did 23 hours straight. And it was a long night, and obviously a lot of rescues were carried out, but it wasn't just us. It was a big team effort from, there's the SES, there's fire and rescue, the Defence Force, even council workers. It was just a massive team effort. It's not just us. There's a whole lot that goes on behind the scenes. You need an instant control team that, operates all the jobs and coordinates everything. So for us to receive this award today, it's just a small piece of the puzzle that, it's just such a massive team effort for this sort of events to be carried out. So,
Rhys, I think there'll be a few people in the audience here that will need a few tips on that conversation you had with your wife about how you were able to leave when she was 38 weeks pregnant and still be surviving here today. So I think there'll be a few people that we are asking for a few notes as well. Richard, for you, I would imagine in that circumstance, when that floodwater came up so quickly and so many homes were flooded, a lot of people may have almost given up hope that someone was going to come and rescue them. So you tootled into the street in your boat, floating it down their street and offering to help. What was that like?
It evolved over a couple of days. On the first day, Rhys and I went in, we thought it was fun. We had a blow up crocodile and we tied it to the tree and we took lots of photos and all that sort of stuff. But by around about 8 o'clock on the night when the dam all opened, we'd been going in and out already for probably 6 or 7 hours. Every time we went in and out, we said to the people in there, come on guys, you've got to get out, it's going to rise more, there's another metre of water coming. And they were all complacent, the ones we could talk some into it and some out of it. I think by about 2 o'clock in the morning, one of the gentlemen, his name was Wilbur, we'd been going in and out for, at that point, probably 13 or 14 hours. Originally, he was sitting on his table. The next minute, he was outside, sitting on his fence. Rhys and I went back in the absolute last time we went in, because we'd already been pulled out of the water. Rhys was driving and I was in the floodboat. As we pulled up to a roundabout, which was an eddy of extremely fast-flowing water, as we pulled up to him, I saw him sitting on the fence, and he's sitting on the top of a 6-foot fence in the water. I just looked at him and I knew he was just about to jump in the water, and I said to him, you bloody stay there, I'll come and get you. And I looked at Rhys, and Rhys just threw the boat into top gear. He got in the water and he just went under the water. And Rhys was able to do a lap around the roundabout, and I opened the door on the boat and grabbed Wilbur by the hair and pulled him in and made sure he was all right, and he was white, It was just an amazing feeling to be able to help so many people. Between us, we had 7 forms of communication on the boat. I had 2 phones, Rhys had 2, we had radios. Not one of them was working at the time, so it was just an honour to work with people in Townsville at the time, and it's an honour to be here, and thank you all.
Richard, I know this, I asked this of the young lifesaver earlier, but you rescued nearly 120 people. Have people come back since and said thank you? Have people consistently dropping a carton of beer at your front door? Have they offered money to the SES? I mean, what sort of contact have you had with people since?
Yeah, we did when we went in and we pulled Wilbur out by the hair. We sit him in the corner, and Rhys put a space blanket on him. We were actually going back in to get a lady, her 9-month-old baby, which was odd because poor Rhys's wife is extremely pregnant. And the water at her house was up about 2.1 metres on her house, so we couldn't get into the house. We couldn't get into the fence. I had to get in the water and bob up and down over to her. She threw the baby at me. She came back and said, thank you. So some of the people have come back and said thank you, but it was just such a community spirit. It was a pleasure to be a part of it. Let's not do it again.
Richard and Rhys, congratulations on your award today. Fantastic effort. Now, those explanations there are things you are never going to read in a textbook. They are things that you will never see in the historical record of what happened in Townsville on those particular days. They lived it, they experienced it, they've taken that, and now they've finally shared that detail with us. I wouldn't mind going around to Wilbur's place. A, find out what the dickens he was thinking, and B, want to know why he hasn't followed up with the SES and given him some sort of pat on the back. But congratulations, boys, outstanding effort. Well, that brings just about the end of today's celebrations to a close. I hope you have enjoyed, whether you've been here or you've been online at home watching today's 2021 QBANK Everyday Hero Awards. I think you would all agree we have heard some incredible stories today, stories that are going to stay with us for a long time, but stories also that I hope you go back now and share in your workplaces and work groups. There are things here today you would have heard that have gone, oh, I know someone that I work with that did something very similar to that, or has done also something outstanding. Well, it's now time for you to try and ignite that flame and get people to put in nominations. Because we've had 170, just over nearly 180 nominations this year. Let's see next year if we can double that. Not because I want to make it super hard on the chief judges and things like that, but wouldn't it be just wonderful that if we recognised our own people ourselves a bit better? Because quite often they're not always going to get the pats on the back in the community, in the fake news media that we see out there these days. Sometimes it's up to us to do it ourselves, and by the QBANK Awards is a perfect way that we can show our respect and our acknowledgement and our honour and our acknowledgement of how all of these people have done such great things in our community. We would like all of the winners, before you leave, if you could just hang around for a little bit. We're going to move this particular banner off to the side, and we'd like to get photos with you and your families or your significant friends and other members that you've brought here with you today. We want to keep those for prosperity, and we also want to make sure that you share in those, that you get to have this wonderful moment. We don't want everyone to leave either in a real hurry. There's still going to be tea and coffee available as well, so you'll be able to have some of that. And if you stay just a little bit longer, I believe QBANK are going to offer some light refreshments in the bar just up a few little stairs there. So for those of you who are able to maybe perhaps slip on another shirt or something like that, there may be the opportunity for you to have a sarsaparilla or something like that with the QBANK people. Don't forget as well that QBANK at the moment, if you go online and look at their website, they have a $2,000 cashback offer for anyone who switches their home loan to QBANK, or in fact instigates a new home loan. So if you're a young constable out there or a young paramedic and you want to start your property portfolio, now's the time to do it with QBANK, and you will get $2,000 back in cash. The next couple of months, the next 12 months in particular, are going to strengthen and test all of our resolve as we rebuild over this pandemic. COVID-19, you only got to walk down the streets of Townsville here today where we are, and you can see the impact that it's had just in the commercial precinct here. Most people in this room have been very lucky. Their jobs have been protected. They've continued to serve the community of Queensland, but there's also a lot of people, could be partners, could be relatives, could be friends, that have lost everything. And that is going to place an enormous strain in our community. And again, it comes back to you, the frontline people. They're going to have to pick these communities up by the bootstraps, give them the support, the care they need, and help them make it through to the next phase of whatever it's going to be. Because, 2.5 years ago, who would have thought we would have had a global pandemic that decimated so many elements of our community? So it's up to us now to be resilient, to be adaptive, to be flexible, and most of all, be the beacons in our community that people can follow as a shining light. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the 2021 QBANK Everyday Hero Awards. It's been an honour and a privilege to be here today, and I look forward to sharing a couple of lemonades with you later on and looking at these wonderful photos of families enjoying themselves with the awardees. Congratulations. Thank you all very much for being here today. We'll see you all next year.